Welcome to another episode of the Juan Words Podcast. My name is Angelica Casares.
And I'm Juan Alanis. Thanks for being here.
Welcome back. And we're back. Okay, so what's up? How's it going? How has it been for the last week for everybody on here? What have you been up to? What are you doing? What are you doing for holiday break? What fucking holiday, Angelica?
It's coming up Halloween.
It's Halloween.
I thought you were talking about Halloween.
I was, but then I don't know why I call it a holiday like that. I'm like, holiday break. It sounds like Thanksgiving or like Christmas.
Almost,
right? So what are you doing for it's going to be different this time. It's going to be a different experience. Excuse me, my mic is all over the place. It's going to be a different experience for sure. Are you going back to like taking the kids to go, I don't know, trick-or-treating?
Trick-or-treating.
Is that a thing anymore?
I think people are going to go do that this year because maybe more than the year before.
We've been stopped for 2 years for sure. Yeah.
I think people are ready to go back to see people.
Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe it's going to be really safe to be able to do it now, to be able to like put like the kids on a mask and then go trick-or-treating door to door. Put them not on a mask, put a mask on them.
It sounds like you're saying on a leash.
Yeah, it does.
No, but the kids are going to have their vaccine.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have the booster shots.
We are.
I think in the combination of like the booster shots and the kids having their vaccines will be quote unquote safer for everybody to go out.
Quote unquote safer. Yes, I hope it is. I really would like to get back to some form of I don't want to say order because it's not like we're out of order, but I would like to get to some back of comfort, knowing that we're going back to what life was pre-COVID. Even if things change, that's okay. They can change up a little bit. I'm okay with that.
I want to go to like a big Halloween party. Like a big Halloween party. You know how they used to do those back in the day when it was like you would go to like everybody would dress up in costume and everybody would go and it was just fun. Mm-hmm. Like because we haven't been able to do any of that in the last 2 years. Now I'm like I want to go to a big Halloween party.
Do you want to go back to like partying?
No, yeah, like I just want to go back to the idea of people like everybody gathering. Dressing up, how and doing a contest and who wins.
I was gonna say concert. No, it's a contest. You see, my verbiage is all over the place where we've been like just like
you get free airline tickets or you get $500 or you get like what I mean. That was always fun.
Yeah, it was fun. But so do you think it's gonna change now? Do you think life is gonna be different? Now that we're coming around to these like things that we celebrate here in the U.S., I feel like things are going to be, like things are for sure going to change, like and especially like in the way people gather now.
Yeah, like what was I mean, I think in a lot of ways, a lot of things have changed. Like for example, people going to work. Uh-huh. I think a lot of people are going back to work, but I think for a lot of places it's no longer like the work day Monday through Friday. It's now you go to work a couple of days a week and you go work from home a couple of days a week. Or some places haven't even gone back to work. Some places are just still working virtually. And I think that's changed. I think that's not going to go back.
They're probably not going to go back to work.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go back to the way it was.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I'm talking about like gathering. So like the way people have parties and the way like concerts and things like that.
I don't know. I don't think that's
for sure going to be different. Like if I feel like I'm sick, I'm going to put on a mask. Or if I feel unsafe, like in a space.
Like, I think people are going to make choices like that, like where they're going to say, you know what, I don't feel safe, so I'm going to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, the bars and the clubs, like we've already seen some of that, where people are going back to the way it was before. Not necessarily wearing masks, but just going out and having a good time and. At the end of the day, it's a business, and the business has to make revenue. And so for them, they have to weigh their like, what do they balance?
But how do you change? How do you change a whole culture of like we're so used to getting together in masses? How do you change that?
How do you change I don't think you do, because I think we're built to. We're built to socialize. We're built to gather. We want to do that. We want to go to big sporting events. We want to go to big concerts. We want to go to conferences. That's what we like to do. Mm-hmm. And I think, it also happens to make people money when we do that. So
make a lot of money when we do that.
A lot of money when we do that. Yeah. So, think of artists, think of like musicians, they need to fill seats.
Well, not only that, but it creates revenue for the venue itself. It's a way to make money.
Even like theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah. So unless you can replace how people gather. And well, here's the thing though. We're made to socialize like in person.
Well, we did we tried the whole virtual thing.
Yeah, we did. And we tried the virtual thing. And we seen how that went for some.
It worked for a little bit. I think it kept our attention for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
And
it was short-lived.
And then everybody was like, okay, I'm tired of Zoom. I'm tired of online meetings. I'm tired of virtual events. I don't want to go to a virtual event. I want to go to a real event.
So here's the thing. I think as everybody's going back to what was pre-COVID, everybody's kind of just attending everything. But I think here's going to be the difference. I think people are going to start to slow down again, and they're going to be like, yeah, this is too risky. It needs to be worth my time to attend.
But you know
so
what?
now we got to get really creative with, I think we got to get really creative with the way we throw events and the way we want to gather people and how we gather people and who we gather together. Like, it can't just be a hodgepodge of like just anybody and everyone to do anything.
Well,
like it maybe creating meaning to now your events, right? Like if I'm going to go to a concert, I better read reviews that it was like an astounding experience and blah blah blah. Not just because I like the artist, but because it's going to be an actual experience. Now, some artists and some people who put events together get this; they understand this. Others, they kind of just they're like, yeah, we're going to get together. And for me, now I'm going back to the theory of like, how am I going to go? What's worth it? What's in it for me? It better be an experience if I'm going to go to your event. If I'm going to risk what I feel is risking, and for one, I want to feel safe in my terms. And if I'm going to go, it has to be worth the experience. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just thinking like that, but I'm thinking I'm not alone in the way I think. At least that's for me.
Well, I don't know, but what I've started to see now that you mentioned that, I started to see that some people or some invites are starting to say like a COVID vaccine proof required.
I haven't seen that.
Or vaccine proof suggested.
I have not seen that.
And there was one event, like more on the private events, more like private invite only events. And I've seen that where, you know, like maybe some fundraisers and things like that I've started to see that where they're starting to put that on there. And even like one, I think said, if you haven't had the COVID vaccine, then you need to show proof of a negative COVID test within like a certain time frame, like 24 to 48 hours or something like that. And I think it's like when you think about like socializing and gathering, even like for like small private events, intimate events, I think it is going to change in that way, I guess, because people are going to be more cautious about the way they do things. But I guess it's your call. If it's your party, your house, you call the shots however you want people to show up.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about like after. So I'm talking about like when the year ends, right? I'm talking about like next Easter.
Oh,
I'm talking about things like that, not near future, but like later events of like 2022 events, right? I'm talking about conferences and things like that. Like if I'm going to go to your conference, your event or whatever, like it has to have more than just a value of me attending and networking. Like it should be an experience. If I'm going to pay money to one, potentially risk my health, two, maybe like how can I say this? Potentially risk my health, and two, like take the time out when I know that I can do like other things virtually. Like now, like I don't have to really attend anything.
So you're like, you better make it worth my time.
Worth my money. If you're gonna take my money. Well, we've seen what happened like during COVID and how much people lost. So I'm trying to hold on to what I can, and if I'm going to like pay for something, then it should be worth it.
Yeah, and I guess that should have always been the case, right?
Yeah.
If you were going to pay to go to an event, especially if it's a high ticket price, then it should be worth it. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't, you know. But I think now more and more, to your point, I guess you want it to be more worth it now because there's actually more of a risk now.
Yeah. Okay. You remember the term FOMO? Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's going to be a thing now. I don't really feel like, I don't think there's a fear of missing out for me. I'm like, oh, well, it is what it is. You know, in theory, if I didn't go.
Better you than me.
not that. Definitely not better you than me. But it's going to be more of like, I'm not like, okay, that's fine. I don't have to be there. But I would like to be there, and I would like to be there safely and entertained and worth my while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, like, I mean, it's up to you. Like, I think whether you want to wear a mask, but I think a lot of people are going to make the choice to kind of keep wearing masks after this is done, because I think it's for safety. Like, even if it's not even COVID, like for the flu.
Yeah, like
or for
I said,
like other things like that. Like, it's safer And now that we've kind of gotten used to it, why not? Why not wear it?
I do much prefer so like in Japan they do a lot of like crowd control, and they've always done this. They've always done like a lot of crowd control, and they've done a lot of like look after your neighbor. So like even when they have the flu or a cold, or even if they have allergies when they're coughing, they wear the mask.
Well, they should do that where you can get paid to report people that aren't wearing the mask.
No,
like they're doing
that
other
is ridiculous.
Like you can report people for doing other stuff.
I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna play like what is it called?
Devil's advocate.
No, like I'm not gonna play.
You're not
like
gonna be a tattletale.
Like, well, not a tattletale. That I'm not gonna police anybody. That's up to. At this point, everybody is up to what you want to do. And I'll you take care of yourself, and I'll take care of myself. That's it. Okay. But yeah, but anyways, going back to my theory of like the way people in Japan do it, I think it's going to be a little bit like that here, where there's going to be a lot more crowd control.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're definitely going to pay attention to like capacity of venues. They're really going to there's going to be a lot more RSVP. So like, if you want to attend, it's not like you're just going to show up and like give your $20. Like you got to maybe show up, maybe sign up, like sign in your name, and give your name and maybe an email where they can contact you just in case something happens. I like that. I like knowing
tickets prices might be higher.
Yeah. I like knowing that the people who are regulating the event know who's showing up. It's safety, on all honesty.
Yeah, safety on a lot of levels. Like I mean, not just COVID, but like safety on
many levels.
Yeah, to know like who's in the room, who's not. Like if you can to have a record of some sort that you can go back and trace and be like, oh, you know what, something happened here. Somebody did something. Okay, go to the roster and find out everybody.
Well,
was
like
here.
if somebody's missing from like an event and they're gonna be like, did they ever attend? And they can like have them on the roster. Like, yeah, they were here, or they've at least checked in and said they were here.
But I guess for people that are like are concerned about their privacy, that may be a big concern for them too.
It is.
Like they might be like, oh, I don't want them to know where I'm at. I don't want people to know where I'm going. If I'm going to a concert, if I'm going to a movie, if I'm going to I don't want people to know all my steps.
Yeah, they definitely don't want Big Brother following them around.
Yeah. So does that mean they're gonna have to be like make the choice? Do I want to go or do I not want to go? Do I just stay away because I don't want to give my information?
Yeah, and I do have concerns about anybody following me around, anybody tracking my moves and what I do and don't do, and that's an always, you know what I mean? And I definitely don't want to. If Big Brother's gonna like not follow me, I'm gonna go like isolate myself. Like I don't want to do that either.
I
want to live my life. I want to live my life peacefully and not be like, oh, she's up to this, or like being tracked all the time, like be on my phone.
Yeah, like I'll go back and forth with that because I'm okay with that being tracked to a certain extent, but like I guess my thing is more like my data. Like I don't want my data tracked. I don't care if you track me, like if if where I'm going and what I'm attending, I don't care. But if you're tracking my purchases or my how I do things online or whatever, like I guess that's more concerning to me because then I'm like, well, you can do more harm with that, or you can access more of my information. You can like hack me or do something else, as opposed to like if you're just targeting me for ads.
You know what surprises me, Juan?
I don't care.
You know what surprises me is when people have, and I think it's a good idea if you have like kids and animals and stuff like that. And I don't judge you, but it surprises me when I see people have cameras like in their house, like pointing towards the living room and the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Like that scares me.
Yeah.
Like I would hate, like I don't want to, maybe it's secure, I don't know, but I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing in my house. What if they can get into like my feed of my camera?
Yeah, well you can tap into that stuff. You can easily tap into like camera feeds and stuff
well, I don't know how to easily do that. I wouldn't know how to do it.
Not that you would figure, but there's technology that can do it. And I think, if you're talking about Big Brother, then Big Brother knows how to do that. Big Brother can get into your feeds and stuff. And if they can get into your phone lines. Yeah. They can get onto your video, like a feed, especially if it's on a not so secure system. Yeah, which there are a bunch of apps out there that you can just do it.
Like in our house, like for example, in our bedroom, we don't have really any electronics that's live in there. Like we don't have a radio, like a digital radio at all. We don't have a TV. We don't have a computer. Whenever, the only time like our bedroom is like being there's any electronic, anybody who like it would be through our phone. But that's when we're in there already. But you're, and that's most of our house to say that. Yeah. Even so, what I'm saying is that it's scary. Now, outside of our house is different. Like we'll record your ass.
But you know what? Like, but people will. people on their laptops or on their webcams, some people will cover them up because they just don't want. They're like, no, I don't want anybody.
We had a friend here today.
I don't want anybody hacking.
We had a friend Valerie actually in here today, and she had the little thing the sliding thing to put on and off her camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's smart for anybody. So if you have a laptop, color it. Like I put I'll put tape over mine, and then I'll color it. Like mine has a tape over it, and then it has like a black Sharpie. So, and I'll like take it off when I need to. But
that's good for Zoom meetings too. Like I would always I had little Post-its, and I would just put them up there.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, sometimes you forget, like, and you log into Zoom or whatever platform you're using, and the video comes on, and you're like, oh crap, I didn't want to come on video. And so I was like, you know what? Let me put, and now I just put my thumb. I just put my thumb up there until I see whether the video's on or not.
To see if your video's on and off.
But then I have to clean up because it gets smudgy. So I'm like, I was using Post-it notes before. I would just put a Post-it note, leave it up there.
She's smart. She has a little sliding like thing device where you like slide it, move it to like on and off. But yeah, like Big Brother's like following you. So I think a lot more people in due time are going to be a lot more concerned about that. They're going to be concerned about like Big Brother now. Following your move. Like, it's going to be interesting time the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
This is going to be real interesting.
But longer than that, I think, probably for the next, 10-20 years, because I think
a lot of the big
it's impacted
changes,
a lot of people already.
Yeah, a lot of the big changes are going to happen though soon.
Yeah.
Like within the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking like longer term with the kids that are experiencing this now, and how they're going to grow up in their generation, and when they get big, this is going to be like a big part of their life.
I wonder
the couple of years they were here, and then who knows how different it'll be after this.
Well, for sure, there's going to be a lot of like people are definitely going to be. There's going to be a lot of like kids, COVID babies, right? There's going to be a lot of information out there, like how COVID kids who were like born in the pandemic and their first year was basically in isolation with their parents, right? With close people, how they're going to be, what kind of grown-ups they're going to become, what kind of kids, toddlers, teenagers.
Well, it's interesting because they don't socialize the way they're not socializing the way they normally would have, because they're not able to go to a lot of places. They're having to be at home, like you said, with mom or dad. And so when they go to a new place, or when they're around new people, it's shocking in a way because they're just used to being at home with parents, and then all of a sudden
young kids.
You go to the grocery store, you go to a department store, and there are a bunch of people there, and now the poor baby's like,
it's a lot of stimulation.
What is going on here? It's like
Yeah, my niece's son doesn't have he's having issues with like volume of voice. He's so used to screaming, so they were never able to go to like in the store, and she was like, hey, shh, like we're around people, loud noises can scare some people aren't used to you. And so he has no volume. So when he goes in, he's like, ah,
he has the volume. It's just one.
Yeah, it's just one, and it's very loud. But it's just what he's used to. So it's different. He's definitely different than the other ones.
And that's the thing. I mean, all those little things that if you're not experiencing, if you're not going through, you don't think about them because they're not part of your reality. But for somebody, they are. Oh
my God, going back to the conversation about kids, I did realize that I wasn't used to being around so many kids until we went to a restaurant recently.
Oh.
And we accidentally went on a Saturday, and we sat outside with all the kids sit outside, and there was a couple of families who came in who had like different versions of their children. Some were like seated down nicely. Some of them were talking to their children like different than what I'm used to. Some of them were very rowdy, and I was getting very nervous. And I remember looking at Edgar, looking at my son and being like, oh my God. And he's like, I know, I'm not used to it either anymore. I'm not used to that level and altitude of a lot of families with young kids. So there was like one kid who was like on a bench, and he leaned forward, and he went like this, like he was gonna, and it was a bench, it was up high, and the mom just sat there, and I was like, oh my God. And and she just sat there like, This happened. And I was like, why? I was like, this is stressing me out. I got to get the hell out of here. Just the yelling and the screaming. And I'm not annoyed by that. I'm not annoyed by it. It's just overwhelming when I've been away from it for so long.
I think the mom was probably like, déjalo. Let him, he's got to learn.
Let him be. Yeah, probably.
He's got to learn. He's got to knock himself over a few times.
Knock himself over. I just wasn't used to that. And so I reacted when the kid like went like this. I was like, oh, I looked at the mom like, what the fuck? What are you gonna do? Get the kid.
I was more like concerned that they were so close to us, not because I was just like, wait, are they okay? Are their parents okay with them being that close to us? Like it's still COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they were running around the bench in circles, and I was like, wait, they're so close to us. Like I'm not used to that, but it was just weird.
It was. Needless to say, we were like, I think we're done with lunch. I don't want to feel like I'm going to watch this poor kid tumble onto his like bottom, like off the bench.
I don't want to be accused of knocking this kid over.
Damn. Okay. No, definitely not.
Did you knock my baby over?
Oh my God. Jesus.
Lady,
heavens.
what did you do?
Quick interruption. If you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rate and a review and let us know what you think. What we really encourage you to do is leave us a like, a review. The more reviews you leave, the more likes we get, the more people actually are out there to find us. Maybe we're not your cup of tea, but we might be your crazy cousin's cup of tea. Go let her know we're out here. Any thoughts, Juan?
No,
did I miss anything?
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Yes, thank you for listening. So we have a conversation we'd like to have with you. So recently we had the luxury of driving a, Juan?
So yeah, we're driving a brand new 2021 Chevrolet Silverado, or we were driving around a brand new Chevrolet Silverado for a couple of weeks. And
It was
a week, a couple of days. It felt like a couple of weeks because it was like a lot of fun to drive that car around, that truck around. It's like this big truck. I mean, like, you've seen the Silverados, the new ones. They have all these cool features that, like, you know, you can pull the little back tailgate. You can pull it half open, or there's like a stepping thing that you can get on also.
Like a step. There's a step built into it that you can get up on it. So it does it. So the tailgate has the back portion of it. There's like a small portion that like slightly like comes down. So for example, if you're going to go get like lumber and it's longer than the bed of your truck, you just pull that down and it places nicely on there, as opposed to it sliding around and having the potential of having your load like fall off of your truck. So you can tie it down, and it's more secure when the tailgate is halfway down. It's definitely useful.
There you go. That's a good way of explaining it.
Yeah, so have the half use of the tailgate where you pull it down, or if you have like an item back there and you need to grab it, you don't have to pull the whole tailgate down and everything like roll off your car, but just pull it halfway down to like grab something, that kind of thing. Like when you're like moving stuff around, or when like you're on vacation and you have stuff in your car.
You can use it as like a standing desk. Also, like I've seen like in their commercials.
A standing desk.
I've seen in their commercials where they have like, you know, somebody has a little laptop, and then their construction site, it's like he's like on a laptop doing something. So like you could do stuff like that too, I guess, if you needed to. So like I've seen it in the commercial. That's why I say that. But no, I think the Silverado.
You see my face? That doesn't lie.
No, it's true. I've seen it.
I don't think I don't. Maybe it wouldn't work for me because I'm not tall enough.
Yeah. Well,
what did you say? Yeah. That's why I'm confused by it. Maybe.
But it was funny because
the
truck was so tall. Like it's a really tall truck, and because it has like, and so I sent a picture to Edgar because he was in here, and I sent him a picture of that. Look what just came to the house, and he was like, "Man, you look so small compared to that truck." I was like, "Dang, that truck's so big. It looks like a really big truck." And it actually was a make a big effort to get in there.
I did. Again, big trucks are I like the truck. It's just too tall for me, and I don't know. Maybe it was this one that they sent us because it was a different version of the truck. Like it was a higher truck to use, like not off-roading, but like you know,
could do off-roading.
Correct, but you could do like you can go into like more adventurous like territory of like, you know what I mean, like with a lot of rocks and stuff, and that you don't have to. It's not like a solid road. So it was taller, and I definitely found myself throwing myself into the truck more than I needed to.
But you have to explain that normally we drive a car, like a smaller car.
So our regular car is a Subaru, so
Yeah.
it's smaller. And then our other car, we had a Toyota Highlander, and I'm not
It still was
used to
smaller,
it.
yeah.
I'm not used to it, and yeah.
So it was different. But one of the things that they did when we got the truck, one of the things they asked us was to like go around our city and to kind of highlight some of the places that we enjoyed, or to highlight some of the local businesses in our area. So we went to a few places that I thought
in our
neighborhood that we thought were like, these are really plots that we really enjoy, that we really like. So one of them
What was that word that you used? Plots?
I know. Se me trabaron las palabras.
Sorry,
But
not plots, places.
That happens to me sometimes when I'm like saying something and then I just like
you're thinking something and saying something else.
saying something and thinking something, and then all of a sudden the word like comes out together and it doesn't make sense, but then I just keep rolling with it.
It's a jumble of word.
Yeah. But no, we went to one place and it's Penjamo. Is a place called Penjamo in Houston, a Penjamo restaurant, and they serve breakfast.
You can't tell people our favorite Mexican restaurant. Why mention it here? Fine, it's Penjamo. That's our favorite Mexican restaurant. I don't want to see you there. But if you go, get the mole.
Yeah. So we went to Penjamo, and then we went to another place right here, actually down the street from where we're at now in our studio. And it's the Harris County.
No, it's not called Harris. It's called the General County Barbecue Store.
Yeah. I think that's what it's called.
The General House. Let me look. Jesus, let me get this one right.
And then we also looked at, while you're looking that up, we also went and like did a lot of the other like murals in the area, because that's one thing about the East End area. If you're familiar with Houston, if you're familiar with, or if you've never been to.
It is called the Harris County General Store Barbecue.
That's what I thought.
Okay, my bad. I'm so sorry. I
Harris
corrected
County
you and I was completely
General
wrong.
Store Barbecue, and they serve really great brisket, and they have a lot of like,
it's Texas barbecue.
Yeah. Very
Texas and it's county barbecue, okay? This isn't Austin. This isn't me talking shit. No, but it's really good barbecue, and it was highlighted also. They do amazing barbecue there. And then of course, where was our places that we like showcase was like 2 restaurants.
There was I also went to the barber shop where I go cut my hair, which is the East End Barber if you're from the area. And I always like going there because it's like a very old fashioned like barber shop, and it's just a good place to go. They always have an interesting conversation. They always play good music. They used to serve beer. They do every once in a while now.
Yeah,
but it's
happens, COVID.
Yeah, but it's a cool little spot, and I like it there. I mean, I think they have.
Well, since you found that spot years ago, you haven't gone anywhere else. You haven't gone back to anywhere else.
No,
yeah.
I mean, I've tried a few places here and there, but I always go back to the East End Barber because that's my spot. That's where I'm comfortable.
Yeah, you've gone to like 2 places, and then you're like, oh, fuck, like they done jacked me up. I need to go back to my spot.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me go back there.
That's what you get.
and I like I like the fact that it's here in the East End. So to me, like I'm like, okay, well if I can support a local business in the area, why not? So we went there, and then like what I was saying is like we went to look at a lot of the art. And if you've been to Houston, or if you haven't, the East End always has a lot of interesting art. They always have a lot of there you go again. A lot of cool murals that you can see in the city, and they always have interesting. And like you said, they're always changing.
They're always adding. They're definitely always adding art, whether that's installations or murals themselves. I love the area. I feel like when it comes to art, when it comes to changing art, East End is the first one to like kind of do it, and then the city follows along. So if you want to see what's actually happening in terms of like art itself, like I need you to come out here to the galleries. I need you to come out here to experience the artists themselves and what kind of things, what representation is really like here in Houston.
And it's got a lot of character. I mean, it's got a lot of Latino culture, a lot of character, and I think a lot of history. So
yeah. Houston, all around in Houston, I think it's amazing. Honestly, I do. But if you really want to see change and you want to see the difference in art and those that are changing, it happens. I'm sorry, the rest of Houston, it just so happens to happen here in the East End before it like takes place anywhere else within the Houston city limits.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say thanks to Chevy for sending us the Silverado and for letting us drive it around for a few days, and also for encouraging us to support our local businesses and for allowing us to highlight some of our favorite spots in Houston and the East End.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed having that truck for a while. So, what's up next, Juan? What's up next for us here? What are we going to do?
What are we going to do with...
Yeah. So have you made your plans for 2022?
No.
Are you thinking about them?
Not even close. Like, I mean, I don't think I ever really make plans, though. Like, for me, I'm not like, I don't really like plan like that.
Maybe
like,
we should change that.
I just kind of like, I have ideas, and then I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, this idea and that idea, but I don't ever like sit down and like plan. And I think maybe like, you're right, maybe I should do that a little bit more, because I know people that do it, and I've seen like different methods. I've tried different methods, and I don't know. I just like, to me, I can plan, but then I forget that I have a plan, and so I won't go back and look at it.
So here's what's up, for at least for I think where we're going for 2022. So some of you know that we are entrepreneurs. We started a business a couple of years ago, over 5 years ago, called Big Oak Tree Media, and then about a year ago, at the same time that we started this podcast, we started our own business, our business called Market Street Consulting, and within that business, we've been learning a lot around the conversation of diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
I think it's always been an interesting topic for us. For me, I learned about it during my Latina leadership series when I was digging around and like getting information. There was a lot of diversity and inclusion conversation happening there. And then all of a sudden, Juan took a very big interest in it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, that's a big, I think there's a lot of potential in that conversation, because
There is.
I think it's become a necessity for a lot of businesses. It's become a necessity for a lot of organizations, not even businesses only, but I think everybody's thinking about how to have more equity, how to be more inclusive. And, you know, I think rightfully so. I think a lot of us are confused about it, because we don't know exactly how to achieve that. You know, it sounds good. You know, it's like when you hear it in theory, when you hear somebody say it, everybody claps and everybody agrees. But then how do you put it into practice? And I think that's where there's a lot of opportunity in helping people kind of navigate that, and like how to figure out how to do that. Like, how do you actually implement, like, or actually put into place practices that are going to help you to achieve that.
That is going to make a difference for your company.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think with us, I think we're knowledgeable in the topic. Now, well-versed is different for us. I think we definitely need to tune in like on our educated minds as to like diversity and inclusion and the widespread that it does have. Do we know the topic? Yes. Do we know it well? Yes. Can we know it better? Absolutely. And that's where we're at. That's a topic and conversation that I feel like we definitely want to continue having in terms of like entrepreneurship and business and in business matter, because I think it's a realm that we've constantly lived throughout our entire careers. Like, we've always talked about like the Latino perspective. We just need we need to tune it a little bit more outside of just the Latino perspective, but what it actually truly means to have a diverse and inclusive organization and company. That's just a small part of Market Street Consulting, but it'll include other things.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I think
at least that's where I know where we're going with the business.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like you said, it's always been present for us because we happen to be, you know, part of, you know, a different community, part of a different segment, and so we're not what's considered the mainstream. So it's always been present for us, but I think there's a lot of value in diversity overall, or like not necessarily multiculturalism, but understanding that everybody has a different perspective. Even people who are in the majority, they have a different perspective, and they have something to, you know, contribute to the conversation and to the process. And so I think it's having those conversations, figuring out how to navigate and how to be honest, and how to say, you know what, this makes me uncomfortable, or you know what, I don't want to, I'm afraid that I'm going to offend somebody. You know, I don't want to offend anybody, but I do have questions, or I don't understand why when people say this or when people say that, or like, and I think that's the big piece that's missing in a lot of places. And I think that's the gap that a lot of people are trying to figure out how to navigate and fill, because I think, you know, we want to have the conversations, we want to see those changes happen, but if we don't have the honest conversations, if we're just saying, yeah, we all agree and we all think it makes sense, but we don't want to say, we don't want to admit that maybe we have biases, then it becomes difficult to actually create any change.
Yeah, so the conversation should go past like go past the months that we celebrate that diversity, right? We're talking Hispanic Heritage Month. Inclusivity should go beyond that. And then when it comes to why am I drawing blanks?
I don't know, but like when you're saying that, like, it makes me think, like, you know, sometimes you think about like leadership, and you're like, and there's like, you know, they help you know, people in the minority get into positions of leadership. But if we use that as an example, it's one thing to get into that role, but then it's another thing, like, what support system is there once they get into that role for them to be able to thrive? Because if it's just they're there and then you figure it out on your own, like, can you figure it out on your own, or are there cultural things, or, you know, other things that are present within that individual that makes it more difficult? And if you're not aware about those things that they're going through, that they're experiencing, how can you support them? So it's like thinking about it more from a more like a broader approach.
Yeah,
thinking about it like from a different perspective of, like, you know, okay, now that there's a path to leadership, but once you're in leadership, what's next? You know, how else can we as an organization help?
How do I not just sit up here by myself, but include others?
Right.
Yeah. So that's just one facet of the things that we do for markets through consulting. And of course, we have marketing and we have PR through Big Oak Tree. So, Juan, as a small business, where do I go to learn this stuff?
I think there are a lot of resources in your community.
Such as?
Like, you go to look for a small business development center in your area.
SBA, Small Business Association. Administration.
Yeah.
Small business what?
So the SBA is different, but yeah, the SB. So usually it's like a small business development center in your area, and sometimes it's, you know, it depends on your city might have one, your county might have one,
your state,
or somebody a local university might have one. So tap into those programs. You know, here in Houston, the community college has a lot of programming meant for entrepreneurs, and also the SBA has a lot of resources, and they have a lot of links to local resources in your community. So that's probably a really good place to start with the SBA. You can just go to sba.gov.
Or start with Google, right? Small business development, and then your county or your city.
Yeah.
It'll bring up a lot of populated area, like where you go and what resources are actually out there.
And there are a lot of ways to connect with that. Yeah.
So Juan is very passionate about the financial side of it because it's what he's been learning for the last couple of months. But there's a lot of more information, you know, like marketing, how to market yourself, marketing material, how to start small, how to expand, how to actually scale a business also, right? To go from like a 2-person business or one ownership to like actual employees, and things like that. So there's a lot of information out there. Definitely finances is one. It's important because taxes, you know.
It's top of mind for me for definitely because, you know, when the pandemic hit, you know, one of the things that I wanted to do was use that time to start to I guess invest a little time into learning more about, you know, running a business and doing things. And there just so happened to be a lot of programs that were launching around the same time. And, you know, there were like different cohorts or different like workshop series that were happening. And so I signed up for a couple of them. And people were like, "Why are you signing up for so many at the same time?" Like, we were like, normally we just do one a year, but my mind was like, "Let me just sign up and I'll get them all out of the way.
Let me learn them all.
Let me learn them all at the once." That's just typical me. But but it actually has been really helpful to like and it's made me realize that there are so many other opportunities out there that I didn't realize. Like this is me 5 years into my business, or 5 years plus into being in business for myself, that I started taking advantage of these programs. But, you know, I think there's things out there that you can take advantage of, even if you're like 1 year old, or you're not even 1 year old, or even if you're 10 years old, you can still take advantage of these things. Yeah. And I think that's the point. Like, I'm just trying to say, like, encourage you to say, you know what, look for programs and connect. And like, if it's a grant, or if it's just a course that you can take, or a seminar you can attend, or a series of seminars, not only are you learning, but you're also meeting other business owners. You're meeting local business leaders in the community who are going to know who you are for the future, and who are, going to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I do know Juan. He runs a PR company, or he runs he does podcasting, or he does whatever. Like they'll think about you, and it's like you're growing your network. Is that it, or you want to talk?
No, I think that's it. I think that's it for this episode. Because we can, us. We can talk. Look, home slices. My name is Angelica. I am a talkaholic. No, truly, seriously, I can talk, and
It's been a long day, though.
It's been a long day. Not only that, but I'll give your ears a rest. But that's it. That's for today's podcast. So if you like this podcast and you think we have interesting topics, or maybe we're not like your, we're not your, what is it called? When we're not somebody's style. Maybe we're not your cup of tea. Maybe we're not your cup of tea, but we might be your cup of tea of your sister, of your crazy ass sister, because we're two crazy ass people. We might be the cup of tea of some of your other friends, or maybe some relatives. Share them this podcast. Let them know we're out here. We're talking smack.
And I think what you're trying to say is like encourage people to go and
comment and like and subscribe.
And go to follow us. Like we are on all the listening platforms out there. So Apple, Google, Spotify,
Podcasts,
SoundCloud,
Facebook.
You can find us there. You can just Google Juan of Words and you'll find us there, and go to juanofwords.com and you'll find all our links there.
All our episodes.
And if you don't know that we actually do this on video, then you can also watch us on video if you want to. You can go to our YouTube channel, or you can go to our Facebook channel, our Facebook page.
Definitely go and put our video there on Facebook, which is where we like engaging with you guys, because we're on Facebook all the time, let's be honest. But leave us a comment, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, but comment on our Facebook and let us know what you think. What did you think about this podcast? Do you relate? Did we say something of interest, or is there a topic that you'd like for us to talk about?
And as I do want to say, like, as I'm learning more about the diversity, equity, and inclusion topic, I'm starting an email list where I'm putting out regular updates about the topic and about things surrounding that conversation. So if you're interested in that, just go to our website, juanofwords.com, and you can sign up on the email list. Just scroll down to the bottom and you'll see an email sign-up list.
Email subscription list.
And sign up there, leave us your email, and you'll start getting those things in the mail from us.
Yeah.
In the mail. Not in the mail. In the email.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And with that,
we'll see you next time.
Bye.